Listen up, Cule, because what I'm about to tell you is pure dynamite. This isn't just some cheap rumor from the rags that spend their time polishing Florentino's boots. This is scorching hot intel, pure Salsio Brazilian style, samba Blaugrana, the good kind of clickbait, the kind that makes Madridistas choke on their own saliva and sends Roncero gasping for oxygen. Our man Deco, the mastermind, the hidden brain of this club, has secretly launched an approach for Stephen William, the Palmeiras prodigy. Yes, the one they call Mazzino in Brazil. And if you bleed Blaugrana, if you can't stand the dodgy whistles, the invented penalties, and the theatrical refereeing that always seems to favor Madrid, then buckle up and subscribe, because what's coming is pure, unfiltered anti-Madridismo fuel, and you'll want a front row seat. You know what this means, right? If they're calling him Mazzino and Deco's on the case, it's because this kid isn't just any talent. He's magic, he's gunpowder, he's the kind of genius that can only truly explode in the most beautiful jersey on the planet, the Blaugrana. Picture this, Hermano Cule, a 17-year-old kid who's already driving sheiks, magnates, and talent scouts across Europe crazy. A kid who, every time he accelerates down the right wing, turns the pitch into a carnival, who touches the ball like he's got Ronaldinho's blessing in his veins, who lifts the crowd with the same natural flair that others need invented penalties to lift trophies. Yes, Madridista, I'm looking at you. While you're celebrating rebound goals and Vinicius dancing with referees instead of opponents, Deco's already moving his pieces to bring Barça the next global superstar. Deco's approach isn't random, it's pure strategy. It's infiltrating the Brazilian market with the cunning of a fox. Deco knows what Brazil means to Barça. Brazil is our historic partner. Romario, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Neymar, true artists who turned the Camp Nou into a magical circus. Meanwhile, Madrid's Brazilians? A cheap soap opera. Robinho, who arrived saying he'd be the next Pelé and ended up a meme. Baptista, who's still kicking balls into the stands in his nightmares. Lucas Silva, who nobody's sure actually existed. Rainier, who Google still can't confirm is real. That's the difference, Esteban, and you know it. A talent like yours only has one natural home, Barça. Imagine it, Hermano. Lamine Yamal on one side, Esteban on the other. Two kids who look like they just graduated high school, tearing defenses apart like they're training cones. Lamine with his silky left foot, Esteban with that Brazilian electricity, and in the middle, PEDRI and GAVI spraying passes like Amazon Prime delivery drivers, luxury edition. The MSN. Nice, thanks. But this would be the LPE, Lamine, PEDRI, Esteban. And tell me, which defense in the world stops that? None. Hermano. None. Courtois would cry tears of blood, Militao would be sitting there wondering where the ball went, and poor Vallejo or Nacho would be praying to St. Florentino for another referee bailout. Deco's doing this quietly, because he knows that when Florentino hears about a shining star, he goes mad, whips out his wallet, and starts buying players like they're candy. But here's the difference. Barça doesn't just offer money, it offers history, DNA, the jersey Messi wore, the place where the ball turns into love. What can Florentino offer Esteban? A VIP box with a depressed Mbappe and Vinicius dancing like he's at a bachelor party? No, Hermano, no. Esteban wants glory, he wants Ballon d'Ors, he wants to be immortalized, and that only happens at Barça. And now, picture Roncero tonight on El Chiringuito, sweating vinegar, saying, "We wanted that kid too, but they took him from us. It's an injustice." Oh, Tomas. An injustice like the 100 penalties you get every year? An injustice like the Champions Leagues you've inflated with help? Meanwhile, Edu Aguirre's sitting there with that, "I didn't see this coming" face, trying to justify that Florentino never actually wanted him. Same old song. When Barça signs a superstar, Madrid never wanted him. But when Florentino splashes 100 million euros on some flop, it was the signing of the century. Give it a rest. Look, Cule, the Brazil-Barça connection is inevitable, divine, historic. And Deco knows it better than anyone, because he was the key to that magical Barça that set the world on fire in 2004 with Ronaldinho pulling the strings. Deco already knows how to convince these young superstars. It's not with millions, it's with projects, with essence, with values. While Madrid recruits with their wallet, we recruit with heart. And Esteban is dying to wear the jersey that Leo Messi made legendary, the one true king of football, the one Florentino still has stuck in his throat like a thorn not even his referees can remove. And here's the juiciest part. Palmeiras knows they've got a diamond and want to sell him for big money. We're talking 60 to 70 million euros. But there's a detail that's making Florentino nervous, and Deco already knows it. His release clause to Europe when he turns 18 is around 45 million euros. 45. That means Deco can play it cool, pretend for now, heat up the market, and wait for that clause to kick in. Result. Barça signs Esteban for half what Palmeiras is asking, and Madrid is left crying in the shower. Masterclass. The Madridistas will say, no worries, we've still got Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Endrick. We'll make a Brazil team. Sure, the Brazil team, but without Neymar, without Ronaldinho, without Alves, without Rivaldo, without Romario. All of them chose Blaugrana glory. What you've got is Robinho, who danced for a year and disappeared. What you've got is Rainier, loaned out to Girona just so people remember he plays football. What you've got is a collection of forgotten trading cards. And don't get me wrong, Esteban isn't here to be the next Robinho. Esteban needs greatness, real greatness, and there's only one club that can guarantee that, Barça. Because here, we don't just make stars, we make legends. Here, we don't inflate stats with referees, we make history with the ball and magic. So, cool, get ready. The Samba is back, the Mazzino is coming, and Florentino's about to have another sleepless night. The greatness of Barça lies in being more than a club, in being a symbol, in being art. And that's why I tell you, Cule, that Stevans looks more like he's dancing the samba at the Camp Nou than crying over invented penalties with Vinicius. And the day you see him dressed in Blaugrana, smiling like a kid, with LAMINE by his side and PEDRI giving him those silky little passes, you'll say, Deco, master, architect, genius. Meanwhile, Florentino will be in his office watching Mbappé age without winning a Ballon d'Or and seeing the Camp Nou shine again with real Brazilians. You know what the difference is between when Barça is interested in a Brazilian and when Madrid is? It's like comparing a paella made in Valencia with fresh rice to stale, bagged rice sold in any neighborhood supermarket. Barça turns it into art, a symbol, history. Madrid turns it into summer hype and forgets about it the next summer. And believe me, brother, it's not me saying this because I'm a Cule, it's that football history has proven it. When Ronaldinho stepped onto the Camp Nou, he changed the club's history, he changed La Liga's history, he changed how the world saw Barça. That Brazilian aura of magic, celebration, and contagious joy is exactly what Deco wants to recreate with Esteban. He wants him to bring samba to the ball, to remind the planet that Barça doesn't just win, it enchants. Meanwhile, Madrid can boast about signing Brazilians like they're fresh out of the Sanguinés churreria. But how many of them have defined an era? Vinicius spends more time worrying about referees blowing fouls in his favor than actually playing. Rodrigo is a good player, sure, but he's not the kind to take your breath away. Endrick. We'll see, but it looks more like a Florentino PR move to silence headlines than a future global star. Ah, brother. Madrid and Brazilians are like those couples who always post on Instagram but can't stand each other at home. Lots of smoke, little reality. Barça, on the other hand, gives you certainty. Rivaldo, Ballon d'Or. Ronaldinho, Ballon d'Or. Romario, Pichichi, spectacular. Neymar, global idol in less than 5 years. And now, Esteban. Brazilians at Barça make history. At Madrid, they end up as a Wikipedia footnote, player among many others. That's why when we hear that Deco has already made a move, that he's already set things in motion, the Madridismo gets nervous, because they know what's coming. They know that where Florentino throws money, Deco throws passion. And, brother, who do you think will win over a 17-year-old crack? With cash or with dreams? The answer is right there. And the best part is that Deco does it silently, like a football ninja. He doesn't need flashy press conferences or leaks to friendly media. While Madrid uses Marca and AS to sell smoke around Mbappé for a decade, Deco makes discreet calls, sends messages, builds relationships, and when you least expect it, bam, a photo of Esteban smiling in the Blaugrana jersey. And that day, brother, that day will be a celebration that echoes from the Camp Nou to the Cibeles fountain, because I can already picture all the Madridistas looking like they're at a funeral. I want you to pause for a second with me and imagine the magnitude of what Esteban's arrival at Barça would mean. Let's imagine a scenario. Minute 70, tight match. Derby against Madrid with no referee favors, because there never are when we play against them. Xavi, the coach at the time, looks at the bench, smiles, and brings on the 18-year-old kid fresh from Palmeiras. The stadium rises, he starts sprinting down the wing with that electric stride, facing Nacho or Lucas Vazquez. The poor guys, always sacrificed like gladiators sent to the slaughterhouse, and PAF, a dribble, a sharp cut, a cross or a direct shot, and suddenly, in 10 minutes, the kid creates more magic than Vinicius does in an entire season without compliant referees. That's the difference, because what Deco wants to create is a dream team of youth. LAMINE, Esteban, Bald, GAVI, PEDRI, Cubarsí, all kids shaped or reinvented in the Cule home. That's not something you buy, brother. That's something you cultivate. Madrid recruits names. Barça makes history with kids who become gods. And that's what scares Madridismo right now. Florentino can keep pulling out his checkbook, but he doesn't have the DNA. He didn't have it with Kaká, he didn't have it with Hazard, he doesn't have it with Endrick, and he'll end up sitting on the bench. The DNA is here, and Deco knows it, and Esteban senses it. Now, imagine the reaction of the big Madridismo clowns. Edu Aguirre, who's already running out of arguments on El Chiringuito, will probably cry on air. It's not possible. Florentino had it all wrapped up. And behind him, Tomás Roncero, red as a tomato, screaming, "It's theft! They stole a Brazilian from us." Yes, Tomás, a theft as big as the penalties you get whistled every week in the 95th minute, because that's your club, the club of tears, referees, and little whimpers when things don't go your way. And watch out, brother, because there's another key thing. Esteban identifies more with Barça than with Madrid.
Why?
Because Barça, with its style, its philosophy, truly speaks Brazilian. Possession, talent, joy. Madrid.
No.
Madrid lives on counters, kicks, and running like gazelles. And that doesn't appeal to Estiano. He wants context, he wants to touch the ball, he wants to be the protagonist, and at Barça, just like with Neymar, just like with Ronaldinho, he'll be the main character in an Oscar-worthy film. At Madrid, he'd just be an extra next to Vinicius crying. What do you think he'll choose? Do you know why Madridismo is hysterical over this Esteban story? Because they've seen this movie before. Remember when Neymar was in Brazil and Florentino thought he had him locked up? Well, in the end, Neymar chose Barça, he chose to come to the Camp Nou, he chose to play with Messi and not with Cristiano. And what was the result? Barça experienced the MSN era, one of the deadliest attacks in football history, and Madrid was left looking like an idiot with memes for life. Well, the same thing could happen with Esteban, Madrid sending emissaries, making offer after offer, and in the end, Deco appearing like a silent thief in the night and bringing him to us. If it happens, brother, everything about Vinicius will automatically become irrelevant, because Madridismo keeps trying to sell us that Vini is the best player in the world, and we all know it's not true. Yes, he's fast, yes, he has spark, but everything he does is shrouded in the shadow of penalties, referees protecting him, and the constant media narrative from Madridistas inflating him like a fairground balloon. But when Barça lines up Lamine and Malo, with Esteban on the other side, all those Madrid fireworks will deflate like a balloon popped by a pin, because no media narrative holds up when reality slaps you in the face on the pitch. And that reality, Cule, is that Barça is building a project that scares people. Plus, Deco is playing the nostalgia card. Esteban grew up watching videos of Ronaldinho, Neymar, Dani Alves, idols who became legends at Barça. That marks him psychologically, its DNA passed down through generations. What can Madrid offer him? The cold, robotic history of a club that wins through European heists and empty marketing. No kid in Brazil dreams of becoming Robinho, brother, they all dream of becoming Ronaldinho, and Ronaldinho is Barça. Crystal clear. If you're one of us, one of those who got emotional watching Ronaldinho silence the Bernabeu, who cried seeing Messi break records, who looks at Lamine and feels the future is brighter than all the lights of Chamartin, subscribe, because this channel is your home, and Deco's move is pure Blaugrana DNA. And that's where the Madrid press starts squirming like worms. You can already picture Pedrerol repeating his famous "Bomba, Bomba, Bomba" line, trying to sell smoke about how Florentino still has options. The same old tune, when Neymar slipped away, when Haaland slipped away, when Mbappe strung them along for 10 years. The same story. Florentino presents himself as the king of the market, but the real cracks always end up at Barça. And with Esteban, history would repeat itself. But wait, here's the juiciest part, the psychological impact on Madridismo of seeing Esteban in Blaugrana. Brother, that day, Twitter stops, debate stop, even Florentino's soup stops, because imagine, the official photo on social media, the kid smiling in the Barça jersey with Deco beside him signing the contract. A tsunami of headlines worldwide, memes flooding the internet, Madridistas in group therapy. Roncero, face twisted in despair, tweeting nonsense into the void. Edu Aguirre saying Florentino never wanted him while his dark circles scream sleepless nights. Josep Pedrerol doing his famous narrative flip, going from Esteban is impossible to this club doesn't deserve what Florentino does for it. A tragic comedy only Madridismo knows how to perform. And the best part? This signing would have a domino effect. Today it's Esteban, tomorrow it'll be another Brazilian crack or a young European talent seeing that Barça bets on youth and the future, while Madrid stays obsessed with veterans. Because in the end, what sticks in memory? The image of Ronaldinho applauded at the Bernabeu. The image of Messi lifting his jersey in the Clásico. The image of Neymar destroying defenses. No one remembers Robinho, or Lucas Silva, or Drenth. Yes, that experience still makes us laugh when we talk about it. And in a few years, when Esteban is tearing it up in Blaugrana, the world will remember him as the heir to Ronaldinho's legacy, while Madrid keeps trying to invent a new Galactico era that never arrives. Watch out, brother, because when Deco finalizes this signing, it won't just be a sporting coup, it'll be a moral one. Madridismo thrives on convincing the masses that every player dreams of wearing white. Brother Cule, do you realize? If we sign Esteban, it'll be another chapter in that story of white tears we love so much. But let's go further. Esteban's arrival wouldn't just be a sporting and moral coup, it'd also be a message sent to the entire planet. Barça remains the cradle of beautiful football. Because you know full well that in every corner of the world, when there's a talented kid, their dream isn't to become the next Lucas Vázquez. Come on, their dream is to become the next Ronaldinho, the next Neymar, the next Messi. And those names are tied to Barça like eternal tattoos. Barça knows Real marketing isn't done in offices, it's done with dribbles. Deco knows it well. One Esteban move that demolishes 3 defenders and pulls off a little nutmeg is worth more than all the AS and Marca headlines combined. And on top of that, it creates a multiplier effect. If Esteban arrives, other young cracks will say, I want to be where the best of my generation are. And then the circle closes. Barça becomes the natural destination for young talent again, while Madrid remains the club that buys what others reject. And that's where I go into nuclear mockery mode with our Madridista friends. Imagine the Chiringuito debate the night the signing is announced. Roncero screaming, it's theft, it's a scandal, Florentino was supposed to sign him. He's Brazilian. Edu Aguirre, voice trembling, I know Florentino tried, but the kid made a mistake. He picked the wrong club. And Cholo Soria twisting the knife, no Edu, he didn't make a mistake, he chose right. Meanwhile, they're all bleeding out, and we, the Cules, are celebrating at the top of our lungs. The influence Esteban would have in the dressing room would be immediate. LAMINE would have the perfect partner. PEDRI would have someone to receive his surgical passes, and GAVI would have a comrade to rally like a warrior. Marketing-wise, we'd sell jerseys like churros in Brazil, a massive market, and Florentino would have to resign himself to seeing Blaugrana jerseys in every corner of Rio and Sao Paulo. And you know what? That really pisses Madrid off, because they think they own the plush Brazil they've built with Rodrigo and Vinicius. But when Esteban shows up, it'll be, adios, Vinicius. Here comes the real successor to Ronaldinho. Let's talk straight. Esteban isn't just a player, he's a message to the universe. It's like Barça saying, we're still here, we're in charge, talent never dies here. Because I'm telling you straight, brother. Even if the club has debts, even if Florentino thinks he's cornered us with his giant shopping mall stadium, the supreme truth is that Barça doesn't need marble, it needs magic. And that magic is traveling in Esteban's private jet on its way to Barcelona. Look, take a map of football. Brazil has always been a hotbed of flair. And tell me, who brought the best of that country to Europe? Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Neymar, all in the Blaugrana jersey. Madrid had Robinho, who seemed more interested in Madrid's nightclubs than the pitch. Baptista, a brick, always injured, no magic. So now they're trying to sell Vinicius as the heir to Garrincha. Oh really? Garrincha danced past opponents. Vinicius dances with referees to get penalties. That's the shame of it, brother. And Esteban doesn't know it yet. He watches Ronaldinho's highlights breaking ankles at the Bernabeu and says, I want that. I don't want to be a trending topic because I'm crying to the referee. Imagine what it'll be like when Esteban wears the Barça jersey at his presentation. That day, the Camp Nou will vibrate, even if we're temporarily at Montjuic. That day, social media will explode. That day, half the planet will say, damn, Barça stole another treasure from the world. And the other half, that'll be Madridismo in mourning, writing fake statements like, we never wanted him, or trying to spin the humiliation. Barça becomes sexy again, becomes that magnet that attracts superstars who want to make history, not just stats. And I ask you, Brother Kuhl, do you think Deco can win the race against Florentino and bring Esteban before Madrid pretends they never wanted him? Can you picture a Barça with LAMINE and Esteban destroying defenses for 10 years? And most importantly, how many Madridista tears will flow if Deco pulls it off? A whole Mediterranean or an entire Atlantic? If you love Barça above all else, if you want to see Madridismo on its knees in tears and begging, subscribe, share this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Will Esteban be the next Ronaldinho for Barça, or will he be even greater?